Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Tuesday to you and your family. We're taking a look at Chiliz here. Got a lot of requests for it recently. I can totally see why. I mean, it's struggling a little bit. We had a little blip on the radar when the World Cup occurred on Sunday, but besides that, still a whole lot of down. So we're going to look at some previous support levels and kind of see if there's any indication how much lower we're going to go. We also maybe want to consider either reversing the Fibonacci retracement levels and or creating new ones based on recent highs and recent lows. We'll look at that and much more. So if you're new to the channel, I'm not a financial advisor, love to teach people to trade. You want to become a better trader, join our community. CryptoCash.tech is the link in the description below where you can register to become a better trader. Whereas I have basically a trading academy, community, and signal group. Okay, so it's really awesome. Be sure to check that out in your own time. Also, furthermore, with the signals here, take a look at this. Some of these community members are killing it right now with some longs for Litecoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin long as well as a short just before. So some of us are able to hedge our bets, so to speak, and things are gonna continue to get better and better as we go on. But I can tell you, really awesome experience, mostly amazing members here. Keep in mind too, also, we just took 33% profit on Bitcoin in just under 22 hours here, and that was for a 20x long as well as Ethereum 20x long for 60%. So nice healthy gains there. Those trades are still open. We've got a few more profit targets to hit, but generally speaking, we're looking really good there in that sense. So what we want to look at here is a couple things before we do. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to remember here. Bitget, make sure you use that exchange. That's the exchange that everyone's using. It's really awesome. My favorite exchange in the world, and I can tell you $10,000 price pool monthly is a very sweet offer. So thanks again, Bitget, for just the awesome affiliation there. We were able to get healthy profits from profit and loss ratio as well as just trading volume. Really easy to qualify. All you gotta do is use the link in the description below. Keep in mind, if you are in the US, you will need a VPN. I am partnered also with ExpressVPN, 3 months free with a 12-month plan. Awesome situation there. So keep that in mind. That is opportunity for you if you'd like. Everything's down below. So when it comes to Chiliz, this decline is unfortunate, right? So we want to kind of look at some other potential support levels, because if we saw this here previously, that was supposed to work as a support. It pretty much did for a few days, and then it just blasted through. Again, you got to keep in mind, December 16th was a bad day for the market, so that keeps the price coming down lower. But generally speaking, we got a lot of volume at this lower price point here. So again, you got to kind of exclude that, but if you go just in this one range here and you see the amount of volume, majority of it is coming from this little spot right here at about 11.1, anywhere between 11 and 12. Okay, so we got a lot of volume at that area. So where the price action is at, it's pretty close to the amount of volume accumulation for that zone. So that's a positive sign in that sense. Keep in mind, obviously, there's a tremendous amount more volume up here once things started to take off. But there is that level of support at the 11 cent range. Okay, so that's positive there in that sense. What we want to do here is go ahead and redraw out these fibs, kind of see what's going on. We'll keep that support level there to be safe and kind of go from there. So we're going to take the most recent high to the most recent low. And if the price continues lower, we'll simply reverse these scales so you can kind of see how much lower it could possibly go. But until then, we're going to go ahead and anticipate the price is going to come up based on the fact that it's come down and hit its tentative bottom. And I say tentative because we truly don't know, but for now, that's the data we have. All right, so that's kind of where we're at for the moment. Let's go ahead and take a look at this here closer and kind of see where we are at. So generally speaking, we can see some volume accumulation right in the range here of about, 11.8 cents. So you can see a lot of price action right here at this range, but you can see, of course, that 12 cents is a resistance. So the price comes back up, we're going to have some kind of trouble getting there. Okay. Again, that's just kind of the way that it goes when it comes to coins like these, especially when they're on the decline, and you kind of got to, approach it very cautiously. So I'd be very careful taking a long position for Chiliz. It's proven to be very, it's proven to be very inconsistent in the sense of when it comes up, it doesn't stay up for long, right? It keeps getting hit hard. And we'll take a look at the what happened on Sunday, because this is technically the candle that we saw when the World Cup was occurring. So that is actually an interesting fundamental catalyst. But nonetheless, we are overextended to the downside once more on the daily. If we take a look at its history too, anytime in its history it's come down below 30, it recovers quite swiftly. Okay. Now, this case here didn't recover super strong, went mostly sideways below a resistance, and inevitably broke to the upside. That took a while, though. That's almost a full 2 months worth of trading. Okay, but generally speaking, we come close to 30. The price has a tendency of increasing. Okay, so again, is there potential for an increase from here? I would say statistically higher probability than not. Once again, it's definitely a risk, so you want to keep that in mind. Do not use large position size or large leverage in something like this. Or, the larger your leverage, the lower position size, essentially, okay? I teach that to my members all the time. It's really important to manage your risk, and this is something that you need to kind of be aware of, okay? So again, this is a risky coin to trade. There's no bottom line. But with us being overextended to the downside, the likelihood of a pullback to the upside is greater as we continue to go lower. And let me explain what I mean by that. If we take a look at TD sequential, this is unrealistic. Normally, you don't see this very often, but when you see the price comes down to a 9, right, you've got 9 sequential candlesticks in a row counting down. Once you hit 9, that's an overexhaustive state, so the price goes sideways in there. Furthermore, come down to another 9, and we're overexhausted again. We tried to recover, got rejected hard by Friday's terrible trading day. Okay, Bitcoin came down by like 5% on Friday, maybe even larger than that. I think it might have been 6%, and every other coin got hit by like 10 to 20%. So it was a really, really bad day. So that kind of explains this here, but this tells us we're in extreme overtime. How much lower should it go? It shouldn't, because it's just come down so low that it's considered to be an extremely good value. That's what the relative strength is telling us here. It's essentially oversold, and in turn the value is high. Okay, so the inevitability of the price pulling back up is greater. Okay, how hard will it recover? It's hard to say. We truly don't know that. Fibonacci retracement levels might indicate a little bit, but generally speaking, we're still diverging here as well. But keep in mind, we're losing that momentum a little bit, so this could very well tell us that we're going to, intersect with the 26-day exponential moving average with the 12 in an upward fashion, effectively giving us that convergence that we're looking for and hoping for. That is on the horizon. It feels like we're going to get there soon. Once again, just based on overextension, period, we've had nothing but what? Ever since November 20th, we've really been on the decline the entire time. That is almost exactly, actually that is exactly, today's the 20th. We're looking at exactly 30 days of just dead trading. I mean, the value has decreased in 30 days. Obviously, if you go from top to bottom by about 60%. But generally speaking, for the most part, since it's stabilized, we're looking at somewhere in the range of 45% nonetheless. Okay, so again, not fantastic. All right, so that's the daily, telling us that a pullback would make sense based on overextension. All right, everything else is kind of null and void, because honestly, we look at moving averages, they're not going to be fantastic. We're going to be below all three. Speaking of moving averages, we look at the 4-hour, we're testing the 20-day SMA. Getting above that would be important. So it does appear that 11.4 is a resistance level, not only based on Fibonacci, but moving averages. So getting above that level could push a little bit higher with a short squeeze, okay? So it's very positive for us to be kind of trending positively into that. But once again, by no means are we in great shape. So that's disadvantageous. Also further disadvantageous is the fact that we are right here at just say 35, 40 on the RSI. We're still below 50. Until we get back up above, we're not considered to be bullish. You take a look at this here, for example. You see the price action come up over the 50, all well and good, but it got rejected by the 50-day SMA. The price comes down. You'll see 50 is a very common occurrence for strong support and resistance levels based on moving averages and the RSI. Okay, so there's something to kind of note. Furthermore, this MACD is kind of ugly because there's not a lot of momentum to either direction, so we can't really rely much on that. Taking a look at the 1 hour, similar scenario here. In fact, if we take a look, I'm curious about overextension here. Price comes down to an 8, got a reset, hit another 9, comes up to a 1, kind of ugly reset. We're back down to a 5, and then another 9, overextension up to an 8. So Chiliz is pretty consistent with being overextended to either direction. Okay, and if you take a look at this here, take coincidental. Right as soon as the U.S. Not the U.S. This is U.S. time here. Basically, around 5 or 6 a.m., we had the actual World Cup occur. Okay, at least here in our states, I think it was different time zone, obviously for where it was at. But that being said, we can see this sharp increase and a sharp decrease after, regardless of the fact. So that's kind of how this coin will work. Bear in mind, now that the World Cup is over, there's a lot less, significance in that sense towards, sporting events. So in that regard, we're going to see an interesting, more so technical analysis related catalyst instead of fundamental. Once again, other things will occur. Obviously, Chiliz has different intricacies, not just soccer, but that is one of the foundational things that it is known for. That being said, if we take a look at Ichimoku Cloud, we'll go ahead and get perspective very last here to see where we're at. And this is giving us some pretty consistencies here. You can see with this here, every time the price comes up into the cloud, gets rejected. Okay, so what's to keep it from coming up here, from moving forward, or to come down as a rejection? Well, not a whole lot. So until we get through that cloud, we got to recognize that that's going to be a resistance level, once again, at this 11.4 area. Okay, so 11.4 is a strong resistance. It is looking like we have a slight cup and handle potential pattern here where the breakout could be likely, and that would push us straight through the cloud. Once we are above the cloud for about 3 or 4 hours, that to me is confirmation that we're looking for. That would be a case in point where an entry would be more favorable than it would be now, because you're just you're trying to swim upstream right now if you're trying to take a trade into that kind of resistance, right? It's more difficult, less likely to occur. You could get lucky sometimes, but it's not worth the trouble. So take your time, wait for confirmation. I would say if we can close at 11.5 at the end of today's trading day, that would be a positive sign. That would naturally put us right in this range. Okay, so again, a closure above 11.5 would be an indication for me that a long position might be viable if other things are present. Once again, we've identified that the overall sentiment is bearish. Until we break bullish, we still need to anticipate the price is going to go lower. Okay, and you can see this pretty definitive line here. It's working its way down. Okay, oops. See, kind of like that. So generally speaking, that's what we're looking at here. We're looking at bearish scenario overall, potential bullish situations based on overextension and getting above the cloud on the hourly. So once we get there, I think we might have a shot. I don't think we should expect the price to do anything of this sort for quite some time. We need some kind of catalyst to drive that further. Because again, you got to keep in mind, a lot of this is speculation on the World Cup. Just something to think about. All right, so that being said, that's kind of where we're at here. Chiliz is what it is. Do your own research, obviously, if you want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site. Make sure that you are using Bitget as an exchange. Use my link down below. If you register without it, simply let me know the user ID if you want to qualify for $10,000 prize pool monthly. It's pretty much easy money just for using the best exchange in the world. And again, you will need a VPN for that. You'll get 3 extra months for free with this Express if you decide you want to use that. Link down below as well. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.